it looks like Warren Buffett is going to mint that $1 billion on the close of the Activision deal, as it was essentially approved by the US regulators, by the FTC being shot down by a judge. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video. And so guys, as you smash that like button, let me run that intro. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And so for those of you guys who have been following this situation, you now know that the share price for Activision surged, as it's more likely than not that this deal is going to be closed. And this is what I'm talking about. So just this week, Microsoft was cleared to buy Activision in the US as a judge denied the FTC's bid to block the gaming deal. Now, I just don't think the FTC had an argument even from the beginning. And so it's interesting to see that it got blocked in the US. I always thought that it was going to get blocked in the US. The reason why I was a little bit iffy on the deal, and actually even Buffett was talking about this at the Berkshire Hathaway annual general meeting this past May, where the tough part for the deal to proceed was that the UK regulator actually blocked the deal. And now they're actually saying that they stand ready to talk a remedy. And, the reason why the UK regulator blocked the deal was always, I thought it was preposterous. It didn't make sense to me. It wasn't the real issue anyways. And so, the question I had was, if they're just going to come up with a reason out of the blue to block the deal, then what are they really doing? What is the real purpose here? And if it's not to really assess the deal on its merits, then are they just looking to block these things for the sake of blocking it? So that's what really irked me in this whole situation. But it looks like now they're looking to come back to the table, which essentially means that this deal is likely to be closed. And for those of you who are not aware, this is a deal that I spoke about a while ago, where Microsoft was announced that they're going to acquire Activision Blizzard at $95 per share in an all-cash transaction. I walked you guys through whether or not Microsoft had the cash. In fact, they could have purchased this, I think, with 1 year of cash flow. That's how much cash they actually had. And, the share price was trading at around that $70 range because not a lot of people believed that this deal would close. And in fact, there was times where there was a ton of pessimism in the deal not being able to close. And, the market is still not 100% certain that the deal will close. It's although it's up on the announcement of the FTC getting blocked, the share price is still not at $95 per share. And part of that is because, the FTC does say that they're going to appeal, but also, you haven't achieved full approval by the UK regulator as of yet. But once again, it being close to $90 as opposed to being closer to $70 shows that there's more optimism in the deal closing than not. And this is what I'm talking about the UK regulator. It was a very weird reason as to why they would block the deal. They said it was over cloud gaming concerns, and that really didn't make sense to me. By acquiring the maker of Call of Duty, does that really consolidate the cloud gaming space? It just didn't make sense to me. And so, immediately when I saw this, I thought to myself, are they just looking for any reason to block this deal in the UK? Is it really an issue of competition, or is there something else here? Is there some other political play here? And so that's what really annoyed me in this situation. Even Buffett came out and said in his annual general meeting that, this is a deal that probably should have gone through. And so the fact that it didn't was a little bit weird, but that's just how the world works, and we just have to accept it. So even Buffett kind of thought, at least publicly stated, that he didn't think that the deal was going to go through, or at least insinuated. But very interesting how it has now gone through, or actually it's likely to go through. It hasn't actually gone through yet. And so here's the latest from the UK CMA, which, they vetoed the deal in May, but, they're saying that we stand ready to consider any proposals from Microsoft to restructure the transaction in a way that would address the concerns set out in their federal report. Now, once again, I push back on the concerns that they have in their final report. Sorry, I might have said federal report. And so, I think this is easy to address, and if this is the only roadblock standing in their way, or only major roadblocks standing in the way, I think this deal does get closed. Now, the FTC did say that they're going to appeal to block the Microsoft-Activision deal. And, my thoughts really are that they're just wasting their time at this point. I mean, you've already gotten a judgment. Yeah, go ahead and appeal. But I just fail to see a reason to block the deal. And that's kind of what the court said, where they just fail to see a reason why this would harm competition in the space. If anything, it works against them, because Microsoft is very willing to allow these IPs, especially Call of Duty, to be played on other systems. And the other thing is, all you have to do is go back to look at how Microsoft has operated in general. There's no such thing as a Microsoft exclusive, because all of these games are available on PC. And so you can see already that they don't try to just force people to purchase the Xbox because to get access to certain games, whereas PlayStation has done the exact opposite. PlayStation has a significant a market share concentration, and the reason why they have such a market share concentration is because there are certain games that you can only exclusively play on the PlayStation. It's actually the reason why I own a PlayStation and not an Xbox, and so they know what they're doing. Microsoft isn't doing that. And so, if anything, I would probably want to allow a company like Microsoft to grow in the space, because I believe that that type of company is operating better in terms of fairness of competition. And so, of course, all in all, this means that Berkshire Hathaway is probably, or more likely than not, going to score that $1 billion profit after this transaction gets closed. Now, my question to you guys is, how many of you held strong in this? How many of you guys saw this through? And let me know in the comments if you at certain points thought that it wasn't going to go through, or actually let me know in the comments if you think that there is still a likelihood that this doesn't go through. And if you want a little bit more information on this whole deal and sort of like how I analyzed it, you can actually get access to a video where I completely covered the whole thing right here.